Hey everybody, welcome to Wake Up Missoula. I'm your host Scott Ranf. I have a lot to talk about today. I have some news, some weather. Noelle has events, even though she's not here, but she's here, but she's not here, but she's here. So just bear with me. I'll have her up here in just a little bit, but let's talk about what's going on today with the news. So today, German Chancellor Angela Merkel is reflecting on moving in some parts. Breathtaking weekend is behind them, said that all the European Union countries helped to accommodate the human tide from the Middle East and Africa. So if you guys don't remember, last week I was talking about all the migrants that are fleeing from Syria, Afghanistan, and a lot of the Middle Eastern countries that are having a lot of issues right now. So right now, French President Francis Hollande announced that his country will welcome 24,000 refugees from those war-torn countries, and that he and Merkel have agreed that the to spread the migrant load across Europe, rather than having a whole bunch in just one part, that the European Union is going to allow like equal dispersion of all these refugees. And I think it's staggering to know that Germany does expect to have 800,000 refugees by this year alone.
Wow.
That's a lot of people just to move from a country, either on foot, high-speed train, and a lot of these countries have been very accommodating. Like, I'm really surprised to see that a lot of people, but you know, like when you're moving a lot of people and a lot of people to a country, there's a huge economic impact for sure. And the European Union was more worried about just having a lot of people just kind of like there, just to kind of like hang around, just pour over the streets and not have any anything for them to do, because their countries are already full enough as is. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? Because Europe is like everyone. There's like, oh yeah, we talked about this last week. There's 3 million square miles, and there's over 500 million people in Europe, in the European Union, which is ridiculous.
It's just too bad what goes on over there, isn't it?
Yeah. But in the United States, Kim Davis, if you don't already know Kim Davis, she's still in jail despite an appeal she's been trying to appeal. She's been protesting same-sex marriage by preventing any same-sex couple in her firm in Grayton, Kentucky, a marriage license. And as a result, she was put in jail for breaking the law that the Supreme Court has put into place just a couple months ago. Supporters of Kim Davis are outside chanting and praying for Kim Davis. But when she will get out is, who knows?
Yeah, she's being tested, isn't she?
She's, I don't know. I mean, like, there's always these stories for people who are vying for attention, and she's definitely not the first person to do this, but she definitely won't be the last person to keep on doing this, because with any laws, any kind of change with that, there's always going to be a lot of pushback, and that's basically how laws become in place, because if there's enough people want this to happen, it'll happen, and enough people wanted this to happen, but now there's the people who didn't want it to happen are lashing out in terms of, but this is just overall like with any story. But more locally, if you watched the Grizz game last week, and we suffered a very close game, but the Grizz lost 19-20. It was like a last-minute field goal. It was a couple seconds left in the game. They kicked a 45-yard field goal, and they won. Cal Poly beat us. It was a close game, closer than I've ever seen. So it's kind of interesting to see that after beating three-time national champion, or I don't know how, like four-time national champion North Dakota, we beat them, and then losing to Cal Poly, which in the past we've been pretty toe-and-toe with Cal Poly back and forth, but from every game I've basically seen with Cal Poly, we've won. But I think one of the big local news in Montana in general is that that they were talking about implementing plastic in roads, you know, between the highways and then the gravel. So they started thinking about this in the 1970s, basically kind of like what they did with carpeting, you know, try to help clean out carpets by putting a plastic layer rather than having the, you know, like the dirt and grime going to the flooring and all that stuff. So they said, why can't we just do that with roads? So far, I just learned that in Montana that most of 75% of all roads in Montana have this plastic layer on the roads to prevent erosion and just kind of like the dirt from seeping up and just kind of combining with the road, because the road is essentially dirt with oil and whatever, with asphalt and all that stuff. So I thought that was very interesting. But of course, moving on, I think the weather's going to be interesting, because I heard that Glacier is this close to closing up the road to the Sun Pass. So get there as soon as you can, but currently it is 45 degrees outside. Can you imagine? Like, just like a month ago, it was just like, oh, it was a nice warm 70 in the morning.
Yeah,
now it's like,
breathe out there
now it's freezing outside. And then today's going to be mostly cloudy with a 20% chance of showers. But this whole week is going to be sunny, nice, beautiful. This is the week that the college kids should have came back on. Mm-hmm. Last week was just like, where are we going with this? Like, can we just like move on? I'm just like, yeah, seriously. It like hailed for like 5 straight minutes at one day, and then it didn't. And it's ridiculous. But if we do take a look at our weather, you can see that tonight it's going to be a low of 39 degrees. Oof. Almost freezing temperatures. So Tuesday, you can expect a high of 69. Wednesday, 75. It's going to start a little bit of warming up throughout the week. And yeah, I bet next weekend's going to be great for any college kid who, any last minute floating to do it. Of course, the water might be a little cold, but it is Montana, so we can deal with it. Yeah, but that's about it for weather. I do have Noelle with events, and when so this is Noelle with events, and I had her, I put her in a place. Well, you'll see. Okay, settle down, Asaph. Okay, so here is Noelle with your events for today and tomorrow, and there's not much going on Monday, so we'll be back with Asaph events after this.
Good morning, Missoula. Noelle McAvoy here. I am still at the Gorge, but I will be driving back today, and I will see you all live in person on Wednesday. So I've got some events for your Monday morning. So first up, we've got our family fun time at Mismo Gymnastics starting at 9:30. It's an open gym for ages walking to 12 years, and they've got, obstacle courses and trampolines and foam pits and everything that you could want to go in a gymnastics gym. So that starts at 9:30. And then over at Montgomery Distillery, starting at noon, they've got their Moscow Monday. So $1 from each cocktail sold goes to a nonprofit in the Missoula area. And that's usually from 12 to 8 and happens every Monday. And then we've got our bridge group over at the Missoula Senior Center starting at $1.25 is charged to cover expenses. Even though they are a nonprofit, they need to get their revenue from somewhere. And then over at the Top Hat Lounge, we've got our Raising the Dead, the live recorded shows of the Grateful Dead. That goes from 5 to 7 tonight. And this is where they've got music from the Grateful Dead from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So 40 years of live recorded shows. Yeah, so that starts at 5. And then over at Plonk, we have our Service Industry Night. This is where if you work in the service industry, they'll give you an exclusive menu for special deals. They have really cheap drinks, they have a couple cheap appetizers, and they have a good DJ. So it's fairly fun. It's good to sit with your friends there. I went last Monday. And then over at the Barn Movement Studio, they are doing a Seeing Me, Seeing You, the Practice of Authentic Movement class. And so they're exploring how they can see more clearly and how authentic movement helps them to see clearly and pave the way. Yeah, so that is located at 2926 South 3rd Street here in Missoula. And then my last event for Monday, which wasn't really much going on Monday, so is the White Buffalo at the Top Hat Lounge at 9 p.m. And it's singer-songwriter Jake Smith, and his tickets look like they are, it doesn't say. So you must be 18 years and older. And it's seating only, so it's only going to be like the first people that come or that buy tickets, yeah. But either way, it starts at 9. And those are the short events that are going on Monday. So up next, we have Tuesday events.
Well, thanks, Noelle. Oh, back to black. Okay, that was a little ridiculous. Because I just had her, since she was on the green screen, I pretty much put her anywhere. So I kind of put her where she usually is, right next to Asaph. But of course, she does have some events coming up for Tuesday. But right now we have someone to talk about, don't we, Asaph?
Yes.
Who do we have to talk about?
Her name is Eula Beal. She probably won't be remembered to the world, but she was famous contralto singer in the 1940s, and there were a lot of them at that time. Some stood out like Maria Callas and Marian Anderson, and others were just kind of just there. And so I decided to bring this lady back to life. Eula Beal, she was born 1919, the same year that Liberace was born. And she was an American contralto, and during her short touring career, she performed with distinguished collaborators, not only in concert in the U.S., but also in a film called Concert Magic in 1947, which was billed as the first motion picture. So let's just show a clip of her here.
All right, here is the clip.
But anyway, she was born in Riverside, California, and
Really?
yeah, according to
Wow.
these notes here,
So she sang like you know, like Italian and Romanian.
yeah,
and...
just your like some of the operas she did, like she did Ave Maria, and this song she's doing here is a song called "Lord Have Mercy on Me" from Saint Matthew's Passion by Bach, and its German pronunciation is Erbarme dich, mein Gott. That's the German pronunciation of the song that she's singing in this film. And she's had some artists that have, or I should say instrumentalists that have backed her up, like Adolf Bahler, who was a Jewish concert pianist. And speaking of Bahler, the Germans crushed his hands during World War II, the Nazis, you know, to prevent him from playing the piano because he was Jewish.
Those Nazis!
Yes, I know, but he recovered and went on to do some great things with his piano playing. And the violinist that we saw in this clip, that is Minuin. He was also a concert violinist who nursed Bahler back to health.
Wow.
So
Jeez.
that's a sort of a short version of what the bonehead Nazis were doing at that
Those
time.
Nazis.
But, you know, despite all those terrible things, these people have triumphed. Bahler has triumphed, Minuin has triumphed, and of course, Eula Beal, who left the world some great music. And finally, she married in 1941. She married the aerial photographer William Garnett, and they stayed married until his passing in 2006. She's played with the San Francisco Symphony, the Santa Rosa Symphony, Napa Symphony, and the local Napa in California. And we lost her in 2008. So she just did some beautiful classical music.
That's great. Has she done any movies or done any...
Just that one film, Concert Magic in 1947. And she probably had a little teeny bit part just singing.
Great. How long was she working?
It doesn't say. It doesn't even say when she debuted, according to these notes. She was just known in the early 40s, like that clip we showed just now. So she just had a modest career, and then eventually she just decided to stop touring and spend time with her family. She had 3 sons.
Wow.
And,
3? I mean, like, I have a uncle, like, who's, you know, they have 3 sons, too. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, there was an old TV show called My 3 Sons. So, well, it's a little corny joke. But anyway, she left the world some great classical music. So if people want to look her up, her name was Eula Beal.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Asaph. That was Musical Notes with Asaph. Eula Beal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, so we have some Tuesday events going on. So here is Noelle McAvoy with some even more events coming from her spot, courtesy of the Magical of Green Screen.
Hi everyone. Now we've got Tuesday.
Say I told you.
So up first we've got China Tales over at the Missoula Public Library starting at 10:30. This is for ages birth through 3 years. They sing songs, learn stories, finger plays, and nursery rhymes. And then we've got our preschool playgroup over at Bitter Gymnastics starting at 11. This is $8 a drop-in, $12 for siblings. They set up different activities and stations around the gym, and then parents and children get to rotate and choose what they'd like to do. Then over at the Montana Distillery, starting at noon on Tuesday, we've got our Meal-tastic Tuesdays. So $1 from each cocktail sold that goes to a different nonprofit in the area. Then we've got Yoga Warriors over at the Learning Center at Red Willow starting at 4 p.m. This is for free yoga for veterans and their families and their caregivers. And then over in Frenchtown, they've got their Lego Club at their public library. It starts at 4 p.m. It goes until 6. And then we have our Farmers Market over at By the Red X's. It's our Tuesday night market. It goes from 5:30 to 7. And I believe that it goes until September 22nd. So it'll be ending the end of this month. Then we've got our Picking Circle over at the Top Hat Lounge at 6 p.m. This is for bluegrass-oriented musicians to come down to the raised seating booth in front of the sound area and jam out. We have a financial fitness class over at the Homeward in the Solstice building starting at 6 p.m. With this, you can get organized, create a budget that works, understand student loans and repayment options, which is a new thing, save for future goals, learn how to manage credit, rebuild credit, and understand insurance. And it is free. It's from 6 to 9, September 8th, 9th, and 10th. System check is at the Missoula Public Library at 6:30 p.m. This is our officials gamer club, so this is for 19 and under. It's for 20 and older. You can't go at all. And they have video games and board games, tabletop games, card games, dice games, all the games that you could want to do. It starts at 6:30 at the library tomorrow. And we have Trampoline Jam. It's at Bitter Gymnastics. This is a structured drop-in class that focuses on front and back flip progressions. It's ages 5 to 12 years. And then we've got an African dance class over at the Missoula Senior Center starting at 7 p.m., 7 to 8:30. This is with Taryn Ream, and she's got live musicians. And you can drop in or just, pay $35 for 4 weeks or $10. And that's from, 7 to 8, African dance class. And then we've got a Rocky Mountaineers meeting over at Imagination Brewing Company at 7 p.m. They traditionally share slides or video of the members' summer adventures. That sounds cool. That'll be at 7 Imagination.
Sounds very cool, Noelle.
And then over at the Missoula Public Library, we've got our second Tuesday book group. They're discussing Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. 7 p.m. in the boardroom. And then at Missoula Gymnastics, we've got our adult trampoline and tumbling. It starts at 7:30. It's $15 for a member, $20 for a non-member, and it's open to anyone 12 and up and all ability levels. And then over at Bitter Gymnastics, they've got their adult TNT. This is for ages 16 and up, and it's 7:30 to 8:30, and it's $8 a drop-in. So that sounds a lot cheaper. And then over at the Top Hat Lounge, they've got the Missoula Symphony Cabaret Concert 1, Quartetto Gelato. And so this is from 7:30 is the concert, 5:30 to 6:30 is dinner seating. And they are a dazzling ensemble. Known for their virtuistic showpieces, romantic tenor arias, pyrotechnical solos, blazing gypsy showpieces, multi-instrument mastery, and a world accordion champion. Wow, that sounds great. So check that out, you guys. It's going to be 7:30 on Tuesday night. And then over at the Badlander, they've got a couple bands. They've got a band called Built to Still with support from Clarkin himself and boys. So it'll be $20 in advance, $22 a day of show. It starts at 8:30 at the Badlander. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. That's what's going on with your events. As always, you can check out MissoulaEvents.net, The Independent, the newspaper, or the University of Montana's website. But I will see you all on Wednesday. So back to you, Asaph and Scott.
No matter what you're planning, if you plan to drink, plan to have a friend get you home. Get ride home ideas and tools at plantolive.mt.gov. Your smartphone can help you find a bar, alert your friends that you're in the bar, update you on your team while you're at the bar, and now, let you know you need a ride home from the bar. That is smart. Download blood alcohol calculators for your phone at plantolive.mt.gov.
I'm Montana Hope.
I am Montana Hope.
I am Montana Hope.
For the last 30 years, the Montana Hope Project has been granting wishes to Montana children who face life-threatening illnesses.
I'm Montana Hope.
To make a donation and help their wishes come true, please visit montanahope.org.
We are Montana Hope.
Hey everybody, we're back here with Noelle McAvoy. So, Noelle McAvoy, how was your trip to the gorge?
And over at the Montana Distillery, starting at noon on Tuesday, we've got our Meal-tastic Tuesdays.
Okay, wait. Are you avoiding the question?
So $1 from each cocktail sold that goes to a different nonprofit. And
Oh, we're not talking about nonprofits. We're talking about your trip to the gorge, to Coachella or whatever you went to.
the area. Then we've got Yoga Warriors over at the Learning Center.
Okay. So here's Noelle McAvoy. With the magic of green screen, I can put her anywhere I want. So I'm going to have a little fun with this for a little bit for the last couple minutes of our show. So, of course, I can move her. Oh, watch out, Asaph. She's going to get you. No, get away from me. No. Okay, so she's gone. Okay, she's gone now. Okay, that was enough of that. Okay, so of course there is some road reports, some road construction going on here, but of course it is Labor Day. Most of these construction sites aren't doing anything right now, but just so you know, there's a closure on South 3rd Street West, Reserve to Curtis. So if you haven't already noticed, and if you haven't tried to go to a couple of stores or down 3rd Street if you're getting off Reserve, there's that road construction basically from there to Curtis Street, if you know where the streets are. But of course, there'll be new driving lanes. They just finished up the sidewalks, so they're on the driving lanes right now. They're going to rework on the lanes. Usually that's the fastest thing, because when they're doing concrete on the sides and making curbs, because they never had it. They had to build the sidewalks from scratch. They never had it, and that was one of the biggest complaints that a lot of the neighbors had, the neighborhoods have in the area. So that won't be done for another, well, they said 4 to 5 months, and they started about 3 or 4 months ago. So who knows when that'll get done. So South 5th Street West, Ivy to Orange, the cities continue work on a curb and sidewalk upgrade project this week, looking for shoulder work and closed sidewalks. Orange and Broadway intersection, Northwest Energy will continue installing new power lines from the alley south of Broadway, just north of Broadway. The outside northbound lane on Orange will be designated as a right turn only lane at Broadway and will be closed north of Broadway. I don't get it either. So Rattlesnake Drive, Brookside to Creek Crossing. Creek Crossing. The city is continuing to install new curb and sidewalk on the west side of the roadway this week. Look for lane shifts, and of course Creek Crossing, Fox Farm Road to Rattlesnake Drive. Northwest Energy is replacing a major high pressure gas line starting at Rattlesnake Creek and working east. This work will take several months. There will be closed roads and detours to the work in progress. So I think the Creek Crossing is the newest thing, because we had that storm a while ago with winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a lot of Northwestern Energy had to do a lot of work. They were really busy. I mean, they brought power back to all these homes. There are 18,000 Missoulians without homes for like a week, and then they finally got them all back. I'm pretty sure everyone's back to normal, because I haven't heard too much about it as of late, but I think they got they're getting the major installations and stuff and replacing a lot of the stuff that were damaged, and that they. So expect, if you live on the Creek Crossing areas, expect your power to be turned off for a little bit for these replacements. And of course this will take several months, so there'll be kind of little blackouts here and there. So I have a little bit more time left. Let's talk about some social networking. So This is, let's see. To find out more information about Wake Up Missoula, you can log on to wakeupmissoula.wix.com/wakeupmissoula. You can also find us on our Facebook page with our old episodes and more. You can also follow us on Twitter. Missoula Community Access Television has a Twitter page, or you can follow Missoula Community Access on Twitter, as well as following us on our Facebook page under Missoula Community Access Television. We have a bunch of wonderful, great things, but of course, we have a video from the Peace Festival, so I'm going to show a little bit of that Peace Festival before we go. So here is some stuff from the Peace Festival.
It's been said that we live in a culture where there's an absence of the sacred, and I think this is the root of all the problems that we have. So we work on an outer level to change things sometimes, but I think that the fundamental cause needs to be addressed. And I think the fundamental cause is, well, it's actually what the Buddha called ignorance. And one of my teachers, Anam Thupten Rinpoche, I know lots of you know him. He's good friends with Tugu Sangnak Rinpoche and Khenpo Ram. He pronounces that word ignorance. And I think it's really interesting. So it's the ignoring of the sacred and that the whole spiritual dimension that has actually got us in the trouble that we're into. That's the primary cause. And then that leads to a dualistic way of living where we have a we and others. So one example, then we have the people that want the resources then exploiting the earth, for one thing.
All right, so that was from the Peace Festival. This was 2015 Peace Festival. Ron Scholl edited that together, and you can find those videos and more videos by Ron Scholl, because he does a couple moments of Zen where he climbs up Mount Sentinel or the mountains and gets some quick little footage of the mountain area. So you can check that out on our Facebook page, Missoula Community Access Television. But also, to find out more about MCAT, you can log on to our webpage, MCAT.org. Pretty simple. You can go to MCAT.org, you can see videos of wonderful things, you can learn more about Doing 72, which is a contest that's coming up for anybody who wants to make a movie and win $500 to make a movie within 72 hours. So making $500 in 72 hours is quite a turnaround, if I say so myself. What about you, Asaph?
Same.
Yep. And if you are interested in being on the board, MCAT is seeking 2 board volunteers. And also, this week is orientation. So if you're interested in being a part of MCAT, you can call us at 542-6228, otherwise known as 542...
6228.
Yes. Otherwise known as 542-MCAT.
MCAT, yes.
Yes.
I didn't think it was numbers for a second there.
Yeah. But also, you can, if you don't want to call us and you feel a little shy, you can email us mcat@mcat.org, and we'll do you the nickel tour of MCAT and all that stuff. You can do what we're doing right here. It's that simple. But if you're interested in, you can also contact those numbers and email address if you want to be on our morning show. You can find us anywhere, pretty much. We're all over the internet.
Yeah.
But if you want to be on a show, you have to be a nonprofit, or you have to have a pretty awesome upcoming event that represents a nonprofit here in town in Missoula. But that's pretty easy because we're in the land of nonprofits, Missoula. But without further ado, I'm going to end the show. So Asaph, take it away. And for Wake Up Missoula, I'm Scott Ranf, and Noelle McAvoy will be back on Wednesday.